What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Jumping right into it. We have a trade. We have a trade going on set up here on pound USD. We've had a run of relative equal highs up here. We popped up above. This is a 15-minute breaker right here, this down candle. And we popped up above, grabbed liquidity. We've had a break of structure with displacement, leaving behind a fair value gap. And so I have a stop order set at a sell limit, sorry, not a stop limit, a sell limit at 1.23674 is my entry, which is at the bottom of this order block, inside of this fair value gap, and inside this breaker. So just watching. We just started the 7 o'clock hour here. We'll see if that gets triggered. Over on Euro, there's not much going on as far as a good setup right now, so we'll just kind of wait and watch. I'm also watching gold right away. There's a level up here in the 15-minute inside of this fair value gap that I would be looking for price to run up into before we start falling away. So man, we've had just a beautiful delivery of our weekly expectations so far. We had said from the beginning of the week that this was our draw on liquidity for the week, up into this higher OTE from this longer run down. Very bullish on the dollar right now with all of the stuff going on. So that's what's happening. If the stream looks weird for any reason whatsoever right now, it's because I'm using my phone as a hotspot because the internet here is still out. We just moved into this new community, I don't know, about 5 or 6 weeks ago. They're still doing a lot of construction around here, and so we got an email last night saying that the company that provides the fiber gig speed down stuff here was going to be doing some service or whatever that they needed to do. I don't know. Get back over here to my pounds trade. So and that they would be turning internet off around 9 p.m. our time last night. We're in Texas, so it's Central Standard Time. And it would be back on by 6 a.m. this morning, and it's 6 minutes after 6, and it's still off. So, I mean, I don't know what you expect. I don't know what they're trying to do, but evidently things didn't go as planned. So if things look wonky or jittery, let me know in the chat. And I don't know if I can switch over to Wi-Fi in the middle of a stream, if it will disrupt anything. So I don't know. If it comes back on, maybe we'll switch back over and see. But this is the trade that we're just diving right into it today. There wasn't a ton of huge displacement down from London like we've had the last couple days. We've come back up and taken out the Asian highs, the London highs. So we're going to be targeting these London lows for the day, but I would really like to get an entry up here at this level. We have been right all week on our direction, but we have not been able to get a full take profit. Monday and Tuesday both. Monday we got to break even, got wicked out, and then it dropped to our take profit. Tuesday we got in, got to break even, got wicked out. Yesterday on Euro we had there it is, taking a while to load because I'm on my phone, sorry. Yesterday we had called this trade right here right after we got off, well, at the end of the stream, we called it, and we just wanted we just wanted this candle right here to open, pop up, and then drop, and it just dropped. And so we've been right on our direction. We have had good setups up here. We've been patient, and now we're just waiting, hoping to capitalize on this continued bullish dollar movement and see if we can get into a winning trade this week. This fits our criteria right here. You can see we've had buy side liquidity been run. We've moved back up. Overnight, we cleared out all of this area. We did have a little drop lower. This was a draw on liquidity here, so we were anticipating price to respond off of that draw, but I think it's going to make a deeper dig. If you look on the daily, this was our initial weekly draw on liquidity, so we've hit that and you've had a reaction off. But we're still very much unresolved with the dollar situation, and you can see on the weekly time frame, you have still quite a bit of room here to get back into a discount and this volume imbalance down here. I don't know that we're going to get all the way down there. We could by the time the debt ceiling issue gets resolved. What is, oh, that was the news from the weekly. Excuse me. Back to the daily. On the daily, you can see we've hit this. Our next draw on liquidity here would be this level. And then you've got your volume imbalance down here. So we've already tapped into a lot of this sell side liquidity here, but I think we're going to make a deeper dig below there. We're hoping to make a deeper dig. So we're just waiting right now. I do have a sell limit placed right here on this GBPUSD trade that we're looking for. So we're going to wait and watch and see, and this is the breaker that we're using. This is the fair value gap inside of a breaker. On the 5 minute, and everything just is slowed way down. On the 5 minute, you have a volume imbalance right here. This is the orange block is the 15-minute fair value gap. So I'm anticipating price coming back up here to this volume imbalance. This 5 minute order block, and if you look right here, these are the down candles that ran us above that buy side, and then we've had an energetic move back below. So that's displacement with a fair value gap. So that's why we're targeting that entry right there. So we'll see if we get triggered into this. Like I said, we're jumping right into it. We're into the New York kill zone, and that's what I'm anticipating for this morning right now. Doesn't look like we're gonna have to wait 2 hours to find a setup. But that's a beautiful setup. It fits our criteria. Buy side liquidity run, displacement back down, leaving a fair value gap inside of a breaker, and we're gonna take it. So our stop is just above the body of that breaker. And I'm anticipating bearish order flow to be respected. So you have this, here's your fair value gap. This is an order block that's created a new low. So we've got some, we've got some confirmation here, some confluence, as they say, in this being a valid setup. So again, euro, I don't see the same thing on the euro, but we still have euro to the downside, and the dollar objective still has some room to the upside to close in that fair value gap all the way. So that's why I also feel like we can expect a bearish pound with relative equal lows down here. I think that's where, I think it makes a new low today. And I think that's the high of the day right there. For this session anyway. Well, no, I guess for the day, because here's your new day starts back over here. So I just want it to reach up a little bit more before it starts its dissension. And also we're watching this on gold. We've got buy side liquidity here. I would like to see this buy side liquidity get ran. We have reached up above here, all the overnight stuff, and filled in this fair value gap. We've respected this order block, but we did not get displacement quickly away from anything here. So I would like to see gold pop back up, then get displacement and look for an entry if the pound dollar does not cooperate with an entry for us here. So we're on, so that's a kind of quick rundown. Good morning, Corey. Good to see you, man. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I've been a hectic morning trying to get the internet on my phone hooked up with this hotspot and looking at the trades and seeing we've had a valid setup up here. And so it's been a little hectic. So I'm trading off my phone, excuse me, because of the internet situation here at my house right now, being out. I'm trading off my phone and streaming off my phone. And so my laptop with the my MT5 terminal is not connected to the internet, so I can't use it. So I'm just placing my trades on my actual phone here, and I'll see if I can. I don't know if you can see that, but that's limit order placed. So we'll just be patient and wait for our entry. This week, it's been a good week. We've had our bias supported. We've seen good setups. But we have not had supported price action to actually hit our take profits. And that's okay. No biggie. Perhaps today is the day that we will find that winner. So we're 7 trades in. Today is day 12. We're just watching and waiting, seeing what happens. Everything is still the same. We're still bullish dollar. It's just been a crazy run up. There's just so much hesitancy in the market right now. Because of the fundamentals, the economic news that's going on. The dollar's just ripping. We've now reached back, excuse me, with the odds. We've reached back into this daily fair value gap, which was our weekly draw on liquidity. We've reached back into an optimal trade entry from this daily leg down all the way down. How deep do we run if we don't respect this daily fair value gap right here? What do we think? If we finally fill in this daily fair value gap, you're still inside this daily order block right here. So until you get back above here, it could run that high. You're still inside the OTE. You haven't gotten back up here into the what I would call the Goldilocks zone for an OTE. So you could get back up into there. You do have a breaker. This is a daily, these two candles right here are a daily breaker. So you have these two down candles, which really line up to where we've topped out at right now. But if you're looking at the body of that, there is, yeah, I don't know. You've got a little daily volume imbalance right up here. If you see this, there's a little volume imbalance right up here. There's a big one way up here above the OTE level. I don't know that we're going to get that high. But that's kind of what we're looking for here. And I just would like to see pound make a little bit of a deeper dig and get up there and trigger us in. Fill in that fair value gap. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see it come up here, fill in that fair value gap, get a wick test on that 15-minute, trigger us in before it craps the bed here this morning. Need some coffee. I was saying earlier, man, this trade yesterday on Euro would have been so great if it had just moved up a little bit and triggered us in. We called that right at the end of the stream, and it just took off. And I don't want to chase price on the 15-minute time frame. We never got a good pullback anywhere. It was just a straight tank after we grabbed that buy side liquidity. So that's a little frustrating there. Great that, I mean, we were patient. We waited for our setup. We knew what our entry was going to be. I was targeting at least that fair value gap. I wanted it go up a little bit higher, but it did close below, come back up into the body of that breaker. Got a fly buzzing around. Stupid flies, man. I don't know where he came from. I mean, I know they came from outside, but where? What the heck? Yeah, that was the breaker we were looking at right here. It came right. It came right up to the body of the breaker. I wanted it to get up. It just didn't. But here we are this morning. We're looking for pound to trigger us in. Framing this on the 15-minute time frame. A run of buy side liquidity. Displacement back down, creating a breaker with a fair value gap. We want it to fill in this fair value gap right here. Dig up right there into the body of that. Sorry, I'm killing flies over here. I can't stand flies buzzing around me when I'm trying to do work. It's like they never show up until you're sitting down to read or look at something or watch TV, and then they just want to get right in your face. It's the most annoying thing. Pet peeve. Let me see if my still out. Internet's still out. They said 6 a.m. But nope. They are not abiding by their rules. I think there's some. Let me pull up off of the screen here. My FX news. What kind of news? Oop, that's not the one I wanted. Economic calendar. Here we go. Today is Thursday, May 25th. So we have we've got jobless claims. Okay, we've just been triggered into our trade on the pound USD. We've filled in that fair value gap, so I'm going to just grab a screenshot of that real quick. We've got U.S. jobless claims coming out May 25th. That's at, I guess, in about an hour. We have continuing jobless claims and initial jobless claims. All of that is considered high impact news in 1 hour. So we want to see this fair value gap respected here on the 15-minute time frame. It may just run up and slap us right away. That would be unfortunate because this is a really nice setup with buy side getting run and displacement lower. So this breaker block holds, this order block holds, and we get some respect of this 15-minute time frame, or this 15-minute fair value gap. I'd like to see it come back down and fill in this fair value gap here. That would get us to a break-even position. And if you look on the 5-minute, it never got back down into this order block here. So it's kind of what we're watching and waiting to see. We've gotten into this volume imbalance here on the pound. And now we're wanting to see price start to respect bearish order flow and respect the higher time frame bearish order flow here. So we're looking for a return lower, see this low get taken out, and retest this order block, hitting our take profit down here. So we'll just watch and wait. 5 more minutes on this 15-minute candle here. So we want to see a close inside. We don't want to see, if it closes above the 15-minute fair value gap and violates that, we would want to see a rapid, quick descent back through. Otherwise, this trade will probably be invalidated, and that stop is probably going to get ripped. But we'll just wait and see. I like the, again, I like the run of liquidity here on buy side and displacement back below with the fair value gap and the breakers. So I take the setups when I see them every time. You don't know what's going to happen. You have no idea the outcome of any one trade, but you just trade and execute your system, and the probabilities will play out. And like I said, I know I have about just over a 50% win rate on this system. So if it loses, it's fine. If it wins, it's fine. I don't care. If it loses, I would rather lose right away. That's kind of how I always think about my losses is, if we're going to take a loss, I want to be wrong right away. I don't want to bounce around and sit around and tease me and then whip up and hit something. I want to be wrong right away. I want to know I'm wrong quickly. So that's what we're wanting to see here. Let's see the, where did it open? Open down here. And with no wick, we've just started running up. So I want to see in the next couple minutes, I want to see a closure back inside this fair value gap box in the next couple minutes. I don't want to see a deeper push here. We've reached up into the body of this order block, this bullish order block or bearish order block right here. So I want to see this bullish order block continue the bearish order flow delivery. I want to see this fair value gap respected. I want to see this breaker respected. So we have three different things here where is why we've anticipated this trade. A run of buy side liquidity, and displacement lower with a break of structure. So we've got about another minute and a half here on this candle. Nice, Corey. Good job, buddy. It's good catch down. 1.5% is fantastic. How much more do you have before you hit your take profit there for your challenge? Dollar has filled in its volume imbalance here. Got about 30 seconds here until this candle closes. 40 seconds, sorry. Man, that's the way to do it. You hit your take profit, you're done for the day. You do not look for a way to jump back in. Just walk away and watch and see what else happens. So so we have a 9 pip stop here. So my brain doesn't want to work right now. All right, so we just closed back inside that 15-minute fair value gap. So so far price has respected this order block here. It's completely rebalanced this fair value gap after a break of structure and inside of this 15-minute breaker. So we don't want to see price hang around here too much longer. If it does, if it hangs around here, it's just going to build up liquidity, which then it could use as just a quick run on stops to run lower. I would rather see it falling away here pretty quickly. I mean, we'll just let it play out. I'm not going to change my system or what I think should happen or will happen. My break-even position will be right here under this low. If it breaks this swing low, we'll move to break-even right here. So I'm going to set an alert in case we jump around to different charts. We'll get alerted here. We have a no wick candle, 2 no wick candles underneath here. And we know no wick candles often are draws on liquidity. So you've had this hourly open and an aggressive run up back into an order block area, a breaker, and a fair value gap. So I would anticipate price wanting to take these candles out, these wicks here, and at least make a new swing low and displace below that swing low, and hopefully we'll see that happen. But again, this is all about probabilities. I don't care what happens on any one trade. Any one trade doesn't matter because we care about the scope of 100 trades or 200 trades or 500 trades. That's how you have to think in the game of probabilities. You know what your edge is. Your edge is you have a good system that when you see your A+ setups, you execute on them. If they occur during your time window of trading, Time is so important. So you want to see price do certain things at certain times. And if it does those things, you execute, and then you let the trade play out if you follow your rules. So here you can see on the hourly, this was the run on buy side liquidity up here. And you've got your no wick hourly candle that's opened. So we want to see, what's the 4 hour? We've got an hour and a half on the 4 hour. You can see the 4 hours pretty indecisive. We've gone as high as we have low, and we're just hovering around the open. But we have created a swing high here. So we've had a displacement down. We've come back up into this kind of order block area, taken out the highs, and this is why we would anticipate lower price action from here. 30-minute, you can see it's really nice right here. We're bearish, so we're anticipating price to come back down. I think we take a deeper dig into this sell side liquidity down here, probably today, maybe tomorrow. Doesn't have to. It doesn't even need to make a new low today. It could just range. After we had such an aggressive move yesterday, this could just be ranging around. But we won't know for a couple more hours. What, next 4 or 5 hours will play that out. But again, we want to see these no wick candles get violated. We want to see this 15-minute fair value gap continue to be respected. This order block be respected. This breaker block be respected. 5%, bro. You're almost there, man. There is no rush. Stay patient. Only take your A+ setups. That's fantastic to hear, man. All right, we're just getting some movement away here. First 15-minute candle, no wick, looks like it's about to get tapped. We really want to see that opening. We want to see the price drop below the opening of the hour here. Still hasn't taken out the low of the second 15-minute candle. There it is. It's just now taking out that low. So we want to see continued displacement lower here. As we find some bearish order flow being respected. That's what we want to see on the higher time frame. Because we're higher time frame bearish, we've identified this setup on the lower time frame. That's how you use the higher time frames. You don't have to trade your entries off of them, but you want to understand the narrative behind and be in line with what's happening on those higher time frames. All right, we want to see, we've had our first objective hit here. We want to see this next objective hit. I don't want to see price make a new high here. I want to see it continue to target that hourly open down here. Let's see, we got not quite 1-to-1. We got about 7 pips out of that drop. 1-to-1 would be right about there. Gonna read some headlines while we're sitting here waiting for all this. 1 hour ago on Reuters, sterling falls to 2-month low as inflation pressures mount. Oh, come on, sterling. Let's go back down near that 2-month low because of all that inflation pressure. How about that? Euro lower as Germany enters recession. Dollar scales 2-month peak. So a lot of stuff going on over on in Europe that is weighing down and making it weaker and making the dollar stronger, while the dollar is also stronger. So that is good news for us. We want to see this. We want to see some displacement. That's what we want to see. We want to see displacement below this low. We want to see a move like this, displacement. Bam. Drop up, rebalance, bam. We want to see a drop up. So, or drop down. I don't know, so buy it up. Same thing there. See how we've just been kind of starting to range here on the dollar on the 15-minute time frame. We made some moves up overnight, grabbed a high. I think we're gonna hit for up here today. I just don't want to see it come back down before it does that. It does that. I don't know why I can't talk today. Why it does that. I want to see it use this volume imbalance and this order block to find support and start rallying here. Definitely don't want to see a higher high here on the 5-minute. I want to see some displacement lower. I want to see it leave behind some fair value gaps as we head down into this area. Hopefully the stream is still looking okay because I'm trading on my hotspot on my phone, so I don't know what the quality. Does the quality look any different today than it has before, Corey? Did you notice? Does it look worse? Does it look better? Maybe if it looks better, I should just use my phone every day. I forgot to tweet that out. Dang it. Now people are going to say, oh, it was hindsight. Sorry, I was tweeting there. You can probably hear me typing. Trying to get that sent out. I want to be authentic and transparent and not make people think that I am not calling this stuff live. Because a lot of that, you get a lot of that. They're like, oh, well, you didn't call that live. Check the stream, called it live. Every trade I've taken, I have called live on the stream, or I have shown beforehand, entries beforehand on my Twitter. So our we would be 1-to-1 again right about here. This is our kind of 1-to-1 level. We want to see some displacement away from here. And again, we're anticipating this hourly open to be a draw on liquidity because we did not leave a wick behind. It just opened and ran up. It did not. The low on this candle is 23563. 23562. So technically, I guess, a pipette below. But we want to see displacement away from here now. It's okay, we're basically at 1-to-1 right now. That's definitely 1-to-1. Yeah. So we got down to 1-to-1 here. Again, we're targeting the low on this. We want to continue to see displacement lower away from this fair value gap in this breaker. We don't. The reason these setups work is because price does not need to return higher once it creates a breaker, because we've already had the draw on liquidity. We've had a buy side run of liquidity. And with displacement after a grab of liquidity, creating with fair value gaps in after it breaks that breaker, it doesn't need to go back up. It doesn't need to go higher to get more liquidity. It grabbed the liquidity it needed and was searching for, so that now it can run for sell side liquidity, which you have relative equal lows down here. Ultimately on the daily low, you've got some fair value gaps and order blocks to rebalance down here as well internally. So this is internal liquidity areas to target. This is external liquidity areas to target. So these are why you have these are high probability setups, because understanding how price flows works and how liquidity works. Once you've grabbed your liquidity and you've had displacement away from liquidity, that's your sign that smart money is now seeking sell side liquidity. We just had a new 15-minute candle open. If we go back up to the 15-minute, you can see here aggressive run down, break of structure, fair value gap, breaker block. We ran back up into this order block, respected this 15-minute. We've displaced below it. This 15-minute candle has now come back up, and we've gotten a wick test of the previous candle here. So there won't be a fair value gap here. And we want to see it now target the low of this candle, because we have no wick on this 15-minute, and eventually break this swing, make a new swing low here. We don't want to see it start ranging around. We want to see continued displacement lower. I'm glad it looks okay. Sorry, I'm not quick to respond to your chats. I know you're putting them in there, but I'm also watching price, and I had my Twitter feed up, so not ignoring you. I will see them. I guess the hotspot works pretty well. I mean, I did a speed test on right before I started the stream just to be like, is this gonna work? The down speed on my iPhone, just on the network 5G, is like 200 down. So it has flying speed going down, but the upload speed was only like 5 megs up. And so I wasn't quite sure. I did a quick little Google search on ideal, like minimum streaming speeds, and it seemed to be between like a minimum of like 4 or just to 6. I was like, we'll try it. So, all right, we just took out that low. We're moving to break even. Holla. Let me get over on my MT5 here. And move this to break even. So we're going to put our stop loss. Our entry was 23674. So we're going to put our stop loss at 23665. Just to cover spreads. Let's say 666. No, we don't do 666. 23665 is where I'm going to put my stop. We have now moved to break even, and now we're just going to let this play out. Let me run a line here. And we'll call that break even position. And we'll grab a screenshot. I think I already did. All right, let me tweet this out. We've grabbed that new swing low here. And we've reversed off of that. We did not close below it. That's unfortunate. I really don't want to... we have no fair value gaps really left up here. We do have a small volume imbalance. So could be reaching for that, which is right around our break-even position. But you can see how those 15-minute wicks... I told you these 15-minute candles that leave behind no wicks are not... they are draws on liquidity. So I want to see this fair value gap now act as resistance. If it comes back up to it, I don't want to see it dig back into it. I want to see it fall away because we've already filled it in and we've rejected off of it. If it comes back up into it, I want to see it fall away. I don't want to see it hang around. I want to see displacement below this low. It's unfortunate we didn't get that. I was hoping we could get a close below, and we still might, but currently that 5-minute candle has a no wick on it. So we just want to see it. We want to see a close down here below this. We don't want to see this act as a sell-side liquidity grab to just start bouncing around. We really want to see it come down and fill in this imbalance and wrap our profit. I would love to see a trade play out live all the way from beginning to completion on the stream. That would be a great little clip. I haven't put any long form videos up yet on YouTube. Kind of waiting to do that after we've gotten, like, do a recap of phase 1 and phase 2 and maybe all the way through funding, something like that. But this would be also a nice little clip. I could fast forward this whole thing, play it at like 10x speed, talk over it or something. I don't know. I'm still trying to get a feel for the YouTubes and the techs and all the things that you can do to make it interesting and grow your channel. I am not super savvy on all that yet. So as this hour comes to a close, we're reaching into the 8 o'clock hour here. The hourly candle ran up and had a big, massive rejection. So I would really like to see this hourly candle close bearish. And then if we get the next hourly candle to open to just drop. You can see this 30-minute candle here. We had a run up, and then we've had a complete rejection and a engulfing bar. Man, I haven't used that term in a long time. That was from my original trading days, an engulfing bar. But it's basically just completely rejected that move higher. Had to move up, grab liquidity, rejection, tried to run up, and we've completely rejected off of it. So I don't know. I really don't feel like watching another break even happen. We've had 2 in a row. We might get 3 in a row. That would suck. Only in the sense that it wears on you. 3 break evens in a row. It happens. It can happen. It's not a big deal. I don't want it to happen. Nobody does. But we just follow our rules here. We want to see it take a deeper dig into this fair value gap. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see a strong bullish close here. 5-minute candle just open, leave behind a no candle wick as we open up that 5-minute. We want to see this 15-minute fair value gap be respected. I don't want to see it close back inside there. Well, that's unfortunate. Hey, we did not get wicked out. We are still in this position. Daggum. The whipsaw action right now in these markets are tough. We are still in this trade. We did not get wicked out on that. But the whipsaw action is crazy. You saw it come back up to that volume imbalance right there. Isn't that nuts? So random, right? Why would price stop right there? Volume imbalance, and just needed to get some quick price efficient delivery back up in there. They tried me again, Corey. Can you freaking believe that? Dude. And it may still run up. As this hour, the next hour opens, it may run up and try to grab the wick off that last hour. I'm sitting here freaking calling price action live. I'm calling trades. I'm calling entries. I'm calling take profits. And these stupid rules, they're not stupid. They're there for a reason. But these stupid rules, man. Another 1.5. 3 in a row of 1.5. That would be 9%. Had I taken a 1.5 R take profit, I would be up 9% on a funded account right now. It's 3%. 1.5 is 3% for me. So in the next 3 minutes, I bet we get wicked out here. As the 8 o'clock hour opens, the dollar is dropping very hard. So that's not great for us. Euro's climbing. Yeah, if the dollar keeps dropping as hard as it is, that's not great. Pound is not going to fall. I don't feel great about this being a winning position at this moment. The dollar is showing massive weakness as we enter the 8 o'clock hour. So this is probably going to get ripped here. That break-even position. We're going to let it play out, man. We're not going to break our rules. We're just going to let it play out. We're about 30 seconds into the next hour open. And my guess is that as that hour opens, we're going to pop up again. All right, here we come into this hourly open here. There we go. There's our, we actually opened with a volume imbalance up. Quick spike. I mean, if it wants to give us a quick spike down, that's fine, but I imagine it's going to be a quick spike up. Again, the market doesn't know my stop here. This is a demo account. It has no idea that I entered this position and that I have moved my break even right there. It does not know that. If the dollar can rip and get some strength here, that would be great. I don't want to see a deeper dig here, man. I just want to see that fair value gap. I want to see a rejection on this first 15-minute candle. 30-minute did not close as an engulfing bar. We were 3 minutes away, and look at all that. It just ripped back up. And it's got my break-even in sight here. The spreads that you see here on TradingView are not the spreads on my broker. My broker has a narrower spread. It's not zero, but it's the red line does not represent the spread that my broker carries. Although that's not going to survive it. All right, we got wicked out right there. There we go. 3 in a row. And we'll update that. Trade update. USD. Wicked out and break even. Three in a row, man. It's fine. Frustrating, but fine. This thing could easily just run up here. And we'll just wait for another setup. Euro dollar. If Euro takes out some buy-side liquidity, and we get displacement, we'll wait for that. If gold comes up here and grabs some buy side liquidity, we'll wait for that. Really was wanting to get just a clean winner, man. Like, just move down, like move in a trend. Don't do all of this whipsaw. But in the current market conditions that we find ourselves in, whipsaw seems to be the name of the game. Sadly. So that's 3 trades this week that we called live either at the end of the stream or right after we got off the stream, that we would have been up 9% had we closed at 1.5. That just sucks. So we'll watch and wait. Maybe it makes another deeper dig up into here and we get another breaker form. So we'll just watch. We're in no rush. If my Wi-Fi's back on. Hey, it looks like my Wi-Fi is back on. So I'm going to try. I'm going to see what happens if we switch back over to off of my phone and onto Wi-Fi. We'll see if it kicks. Another little glitch. But I think it's on. I can get off my hotspot now. Hey, Corey, you still there, man? Is everything still live here? We good? Okay, cool. Well, we got back on there, so I'm going to unplug my phone off of this. Let me do a little cleanup around here. Nice to know I can switch to a different thing. It doesn't just completely kick me. I can open up my terminal over here on MT5 if we find another position. So what are we looking for here now? We can jump over to the dollar. You can see we're getting massive retracement. We have some sell side liquidity here on the dollar that if we can reach into would, I think, give us our catapult up. We've left that first swing in place. This is the swing from yesterday overnight, the London low. So we could reach for that. We don't have to. Pound's dropping back down now. It will probably just run hard for my take profit because that's what trades do after you get stopped at break even. Everyone knows that. You get stopped at break even and then the market flips you the middle finger and races as fast as it can. But it's cool to see these setups play out, even though you don't get a 1 to 2. Even just knowing how price is going to respond when you see these setups and you see price get deep into your favor, past a 1 to 1 into a 1.5. All of that is just confidence building, and it's learning. Every time you do this, you're learning. Every time you enter into a trade and into a position, you're learning something new about the market, because it doesn't do the exact same thing every time. It does similar things, and you can find new things to learn and to watch every time you're watching the market. So That trade you took last night, Corey, and got you made 1.5%. What was the setup there that you took? Why did you get into that? I would be interested to know. Look on my chart. So if the dollar could grab some sell side liquidity here, maybe we get news in 30 minutes. So we would probably anticipate some kind of movement in about 25 minutes. We get some buy side liquidity on the euro. We still have this drawn liquidity down here for euro dollar. I'm still waiting for price also to get up here above gold. I'm going to set an alert on gold up here. I would like to see price get up there and grab that buy side and then roll over. Unfortunate, 3 in a row. I can update my. Last time I tried to update this, it just disappeared on me. Hey, it worked. Thank you. 4 break evens, 3 wins, 1 loss, 4 break evens. Saw set up. One of the guys who taught me stocks showed me it was a reversal setup. 2-2. Cool. Never heard of that. But if it fits your criteria, good job on executing that. If it's a regular part of your playbook, I have a very simple playbook. Breaker blocks are probably my number 1 A+ setup, where it's just a grab of liquidity, displacement after liquidity being grabbed, a fair value gap inside of a breaker. That's my A+ setup. My second, so something like this that we took this morning. My second setup would be just a breaker. So again, you have a run on liquidity, you get a breaker, you don't get a fair value gap, and you're just trading you find somewhere inside that breaker as your entry. It could be the wick, it could be the body, somewhere in between the wick and the body, maybe 50% of the wick to the body, could be 50% of the whole breaker. And I use lower time frames if I don't find fair value gaps, just to find a specific entry on that. So I'm going to move this over here because we got stopped out right there. Oops. The nice thing is when you do, so the cool thing about break-even trades are when they run to your take profit after you hit break-even, it can be frustrating. But when it runs for your stop loss after hitting your break-even, you are glad you followed your rules. And that's why I said they're not stupid rules. They are good rules, and they're there for a reason. They're there to protect your capital. And we're still 1.5 winning trades. We're still 1 1/3 winning trades from passing phase 2. 1 to 2, and then a 1 to 0.5. And we pass phase 2 and get funded. So we're in no rush. We will wait for our setups. Euro dollar is running buy side liquidity here, so this is good. You have buy side liquidity here and here, so we have taken out this would be the London high. If it takes that out, we would look for a reversal, and you have your Asian high up here. So these, I want to see price rip into here. It'd be nice, and then with the news maybe with the news you get that rip up, and then you get a complete tank to rebalance this aggressive price action here. We're trading in line with our higher time frame bias, which is bearish on the foreigns, bullish on the dollar. The dollar has grabbed its sell side liquidity and taken out the London low. The euro did not. So if we get displacement now lower here, we've grabbed buy side liquidity. This is the London high. The euro did not take out the London high. The dollar did. See that? So dollar made a new low, grabbed sell side liquidity here. The euro did not make that same high. It could be SMT, could be a sign that we don't need to go any further. But we wait for confirmation now. So you've had a run of buy side liquidity here. Pound, if it makes a deeper dive, then we might be able to use the pound as find another entry there. Euros grabbed that buy side liquidity here. Dollar has grabbed buy side liquidity. So now we're going to wait for a sign that says we're ready to displace back higher. Just going to wait. We'll use the lowest time frame here, 5 minute, to see if we can get some evidence of reversals happening or in the midst of happening. We're not going to try and call a top with the London highs here for pound. So for us to find an entry, we're going to need a down close candle to use to identify a run on liquidity and a breaker with a fair value gap. So we're going to need a down close, at least one down close candle to print to get another run higher to show displacement and create a level that we can use to identify for an entry. Oh, more cold coffee. Let's see how long I can stay on today. We have a coworker who is very pregnant, and we're throwing her a baby shower this morning at work. And so I got to get in for that and help set up and decorate for that thing. But I can still, let's see, I can stay on for at least another 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So we might still get a good setup in the next hour or so. US30 broke out of our consolidation area that we were like, no, this is a no-go zone until we get a break out of it. We did get that break yesterday. So we're now trending officially. On the 4-hour, we've made a new swing low. So you've had this higher high. These are 4 hours. So you're now making bearish order flow on US30. You have a volume imbalance up here from yesterday. So this could potentially be an area that we target today. And maybe as the market opens, you get back up into, grab some liquidity here before you roll back over. Could come back up to the bottom of that massive area again. But when it gets up in here and has grabbed some of this liquidity, I would be looking to see how price responds and reacts up here on a lower time frame to target some of these, a new swing low down here. Market's not going to stay locked up forever. It's frustrating and it can sit in there for a long time. But then once it moves, man. I mean, it does what it's going to do. Dollar is running aggressively back up. Let's look at that. So we grab liquidity here and we're running up. Euro is dropping pretty hard. There's no entry here so far on euro dollar. And there's no entry here on pound dollar. And we have some red folder news coming up in 10 minutes. And so I'm not going to open a position before that. Even if there was a valid setup, I'm not going to trade red folder news. If I was already in a trade, let's say I was in a trade like here, like I got in an hour before or whatever, or I was just holding it, I would let it hold. I would just be at break even for sure. But we'll watch and wait here. We're not going to take any positions until after 8:30 New York time. We will let the news hit. We'll see what kind of volatility we get and then look for a potential setup. So we're just in this range right here. We did grab a little liquidity here. I would have anticipated this run, but we'll just wait. We will just wait. Like I said, we need some down candles to print so that we can get runs on liquidity and breaks of structure to identify. So let's wait for the news to hit here. 21 minutes ago, US dollar jumps early Thursday ahead of GDP, jobless claims, and pending home sales. Stocks and debt ceiling danger zone after US rating a warning. Excuse me. Got some nice relative equal highs up here above the London high, and the Asian news may pop us up, and then we get some displacement off of that. News could also just tank us. And if that's the case, then I could use this 5-minute as a buy side liquidity run. If we get displacement below there with a fair value gap, you could use this little area here as an entry. If we get massive displacement down, come back up, hit it, and then target that drawn liquidity down there. We would have gotten stopped out there. The spread definitely would have hit us. It didn't technically get above that breaker, so the breaker was still respected. We have about 8 minutes here till the news. Bitcoin running pretty hard. If you'll remember, this is our draw on liquidity for Bitcoin. It's now created relative equal lows. It left that sell side liquidity in place right here a couple hours ago. So maybe it gets back up into this fair value gap here. This is a breaker. This candle. Grab buy side liquidity right here. Displacement lower, fair value gap. So that's where I would look for Bitcoin reversal this morning to go short and take out this sell side liquidity on relative equal lows and reach into this buy side imbalance into this daily fair value gap down there. It's some quick analysis, quick and dirty. Dollar is grabbed liquidity, but we haven't had an aggressive displacement above it yet. About 5 more minutes here until the 8:30 market open and we get our news drop. And we'll see if we get any kind of setups formed from that. I really wish this thing would have just hit before the news and we could be done for the day, get off the stream. Hate that. Phase 1 was so clean. A clean loss. I mean, sometimes a clean loss is almost, it's not as frustrating as a break even. Phase 1 was so clean, man. A loss, a break even, and then 2 straight winners with that small third winner in a row. And actually the third was a full take profit winner. We just didn't need it to get all the way there because we were so close to our profit target. But you can't play mind games with yourself. You just have to follow your rules. The market's not going anywhere. It's going to be here every day. It creates setups almost every day. Some of your setups get triggered and some of them don't. Like we've had 2 entries, I think, this week get swerved. And we've had 3 take profits get swerved after moving to break even. It happens. It's part of the game. You don't get the trophy buck every time you go into the woods. They're called trophy bucks for a reason. If they were easy, everyone would be getting them all the time. They're not easy. When you bag one, you should be happy. And we almost had one. He came right out into the clearing and then he just turned around and went back into the brush. Disappeared back into the woods and we lost our shot. About 2.5 minutes now left until our news hits here, and we're going to get some volatility coming in. We've already had a run on liquidity on the dollar. We could make a deeper run on that. The euro still hasn't taken out its London high like the dollar has. So we still have some room there. This is the high at 245 on the euro that we have yet to hit, and the 245 here has already been grabbed on the DXY. So we're just gonna hang out for another 1.5 minutes. All right, 1 minute left. There's about a 10-second delay on the stream. We're getting some anticipation of bad news as price begins to inch lower, but it'd be kind of interesting to see numbers come out and get another run into liquidity and then displacement down. About 15 seconds here. We need a couple 5-minute candles to print after the news before we make a decision on anything. And here we go. News is out. And you get a quick reaction down on the euro dollar. Initial reaction down. DXY initial reaction bump up and a quick pullback. Pound down with a quick pullback. Again, if we see displacement below this level, this would be a breaker. This was the last down candle that took out buy side liquidity. So if we got displacement below here right now, and then we could use that as a potential entry to target lower. All right, we may get that. I don't know. We'll watch and wait. Pound. It looks like it's going to just ram down towards our take profit. No big deal because it would have come back out here to this stop anyway. Nice to see that breaker get respected. If it does continue to do that, dollar is ripping higher, and we just may not get a pause at all. It may just run for liquidity like nobody's business with the news. Yep, that's unfortunate when you get volatile news like that, but it does create fair value gaps to target future moves. So we would love to see it leave that liquidity in place, but it gives us a nice potential entry here. If we look over on our calendar, the 4-week jobless claims, the previous, so the consensus was the jobless claims would be 258. They actually came in at 231. So they were better than expected, which is not great for, still says it's a hot economy. Continuing jobless claims dropped just a little bit. Initial jobless claims were lower than anticipated. The Chicago Fed index also higher than expected. Real consumer spending was above the consensus, which means spending was up. GDP sales hit. Core price index, a anticipated 4.9, it was 5.0. GDP grew at 4.2%. The GDP price index, was higher than expected. And quarter over quarter was higher than expected. So it just says that the U.S. economy is still very hot, not slowing down, which means the likelihood the Fed's ease does not look like a possibility, which would mean you're likely to see the dollar continue to be bullish, especially as we reach into the end of the month with our debt ceiling stuff going on. All right, so we've seen displacement now after we've grabbed liquidity on the euro dollar. This is a I would use this whole thing as kind of a breaker block area. You've had a run on liquidity, you've had displacement lower, back below the candle that produced that. Looks like you're going to have some kind of a fair value gap, massive fair value gap. I would like to see it leave this liquidity in place. If you could get a return back up into about the 50% of here, of that fair value gap, you could get your 1 to 2 right there. But with the news coming out, and it's probably just bad news for all the foreigns, and price is just going to continue to tank. You could use this. Let's see. Nothing here clear. You do have a break of structure. This is the cleaner look for me, honestly. Could do something like that. See how this 5-minute candle closes. I think that's what I would anticipate here as a breaker with a fair value gap inside of here. I would be targeting this 15-minute order block that made a swing high, took out liquidity. This 15-minute breaker, in fact. So you have this 15-minute breaker right here. On the 5-minute, it's this little chunk. I would put my stop above the candle that created the fair value gap. Right there. So if I target the low of that, a 7-pip stop, targeting the drawn liquidity, the low, and this daily drawn liquidity here. If it leaves that in place here, gives us a run up, and then grabs it, that would be my anticipation, and I like that setup. So let me talk this out. We've got your buy side liquidity here. You also have SMT with the dollar. The dollar took out the London. The euro dollar did not. So you have buy side liquidity. You had a run up, grabbed it, and displacement lower, leaving behind a fair value gap. So my entry on this, let me move over here. I'll move my mic so you can hear what I'm saying. We're going to put our stop up here, and our entry will be right there. take profit is right there. So go ahead and sell limit on the euro dollar. All right, so that is 0.7254 and stop at 7.324 and a take profit at 7.107. So we have a sell limit entry here that I'm going to go ahead and call as another good setup opportunity to capitalize on a bullish dollar. So that's what we're looking at. We want to see a retracement and rebalance of some of that price action right there. If it takes that out, we'll cancel it. I'm not gonna, if it starts coming back up, I'll take a screenshot and post that on Twitter, but right now I'm not going to do that because the way price is moving aggressively down, it may just come all the way down and not give us a pullback. But we'll be patient and see. Gold did not give us our entry and just decided to tank. So also kind of unfortunate, but that's where it's heading. That would have been a nice run on liquidity there. Wish we could have gotten up into it, but we just couldn't get that high. So we'd like to see euro dollar again leave that low in place right now. If it gets up into that fair value gap, it could just immediately return. I would really love to see it come back up into that breaker. It may just come up this high. This is where I want it because I want to put my stop up there and to get a good 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. This is where I need price to be. I don't want to see price stall out here in reverse. If I take that entry, if I were to take just an entry here, I would still have to put my stop up at the same spot, but now I'm gonna need price to do that, which it can do, but here's your draw on liquidity right here. This low and this old daily swing low right here. So is it going to make that deep of a run into liquidity? It can, but I just want it to do a little work on liquidity. And so I want this entry to target that liquidity. There's your breaker, your draw on liquidity, your displacement, your fair value gap. So I'm just going to target the bottom of that breaker, and I'm going to put my stop above the candle that created the fair value gap here. If it just drops and takes out these lows, I'll cancel the order and probably be done. The dollar is reaching for the top of that fair value gap. Again, why couldn't have just done that right here before the news? $20 minutes earlier. That's all I needed. 20 minutes earlier, and I would have hit my TP. Just skip all that. Oh well. This 15-minute candle is about to close, so our next 15-minute one This really was a great setup. Great retrace back into a fair value gap inside of a breaker. We just got caught before the news hitting that break even. We couldn't get that extra 4 pip push down. 3 break evens in a row. Very unfortunate. New 15-minute candle is opening here. I would like to see it leave that low. Maybe come up into here, this 15 minutes, to leave that fair value gap so that at the start of the 9 o'clock hour, we get a push up and could get triggered in there. I never told you my third. I have a 3-play playbook, basically 4 plays. I don't know. I don't know how you would define them, but the setups that I look for: breakers with fair value gaps are the best. This is a 15-minute breaker right here. This is the last down candle that took out buy side liquidity. And we need this 15-minute not to take out this low, but rather climb back up, leave a fair value gap, and then the next hourly candle, grab that, and then we tank. Or get us in right now and then tank. That's fine as well. Be more than happy with that. Dollar has a breaker structure. And we still have some room up here for it to run. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot here and put that out on the twits. Entry would be 1.07254. Stop would be 1.07324. TP is 7107. Risk is 2%. RR equals 1 to 1.2. So that's what we're hoping for right there. Again, if I'm monitoring this on the 15-minute candle, I want to see this 15-minute not crap the bed right here and take out that liquidity yet. I want to see it leave this fair value gap in this breaker, so that when we open into that 9 o'clock hour, we might get a run in here to take out that liquidity. So respect whatever fair value gap it leaves behind. But we're targeting the entry on this breaker candle. And this is a breaker again because it is the last down close candle that produced a run on buy side liquidity, and then we had displacement from that liquidity. These are all valid setups. I am not talking myself into anything here. I am following my plan, and I've seen these setups over and over again, so I know what I'm looking for. And as you've seen, we've had All three of our break evens could easily have been take profits. Every single one of them. The last three trades this week were all break evens, and every single one of them could have easily hit the take profit. And that would have been 6 winners in a row. But we just follow our plan. We just watch and wait for our setup. So we want to see the dollar engineer liquidity here. We don't want to see it create a new low or take out these lows and this liquidity. We don't want it to engage that yet. We want to see it engineer liquidity and use this fair value gap as a way to get more buy side liquidity that it can use to then shoot lower. It's already entered back into that fair value gap right here. It dipped into it on the 5-minute time frame. And that could be just a breakaway fair value gap. And that's all it needed to do was just touch it and then fall away. I don't want it to see that. I don't want to see that for this trade. I want to see it engineer liquidity, some highs and lows here, and into the next hour run up so that we can then run these lows throughout the rest of the New York session. Price gets to where you want it to go, or you don't take the trade. This is above the 50% of this leg down. Oh, it's right at the 50%. So we have about 9 more minutes left here. I just, over the next 9 minutes, I want to see price leave that low in place and get a wick up on the hourly open on the next 9 o'clock hour. So you can see that this is the potential fair value gap it's going to leave behind. And we would target inside of there with that breaker for our entry. So far it's cooperating and leaving those lows in place, which I'm appreciative of, seeing how it treated me so badly on this pound trade. It could cooperate one time this week. It could cooperate just one time this week. Last week, 3 winners in a row. This week, 3 break-evens in a row. So the news that came out, there's an article on Bloomberg talking about the GDP and income. So the GDP revised higher, but income is shrinking. So the government's 2 main measures of U.S. economic activity, I'm reading this off of Bloomberg.com, diverged in the first quarter, with one gauge painting a picture of weakness. Gross domestic product rose at a revised 1.3 annualized pace in the first quarter, up slightly from the government's previous estimate. Consumer spending was revised higher at a 3.8% rate, according to Commerce Department figures. However, a gauge of the income generated and costs incurred from producing goods and services gross domestic income decreased 2.3% after falling 3.3% in the fourth quarter. Pre-tax corporate profits fell in the first 3 months of 2023. All that to say, the dollar is bullish. And the foreigns are bearish. And I don't want it to take out that low before the next hour. Dollar is about to reach its weekly objective and close in that fair value gap. Pound is reaching for its London lows, which I said at the beginning of the stream, this is where it was going to make a new low for the day. Dadgummit, wicked us out. Sometimes it does that. No biggie. We will we'll find it here. One of these days, we will get price to just give us some clean price action. And we'll catch that beautiful wave to a 1-2 winner in line with our expectation. Hope you enjoy those leftovers, Corey. Leftovers are great. Well, it just depends on what they are. Like leftover, like a leftover seafood meal is probably one of the most disgusting things. But like leftover pizza or spaghetti or, you know, like grilled chicken. Ooh. Mashed potatoes. Leftovers are so good. I make the best mashed potatoes in the world. My mashed potatoes smack. They are so good. And I've been doing a keto diet for the last 9 weeks and just trying to shed some extra LBs. And I've reached my, lost 15 pounds actually in the last 9 weeks. And so I hit my target weight at 169. So now I'm just going to maintain and try to maybe put on a little bulk lean mass. I feel good. I feel great. I'm in ketosis. My body is burning ketones for fuel, not sugar, and I feel amazing. Mentally feel amazing. Physically feel amazing. My appetite is very suppressed. I do intermittent fasting, so I'm only eating from like noon to 7 every day, so a 7-hour window. We got about a minute and a half here till this hourly candle closes. I'd really like to not see it. I really want to see it. It's going to leave behind a fair value gap, but I don't want to see it close super bearish here. 10 seconds here to the close of this hourly candle. 9 o'clock hour is about to open. Would really like to see a push up on this hourly open into this fair value gap. So this is a, I'm going to go ahead and label this so we can see what we're looking at. This is a 15-minute breaker. Oh man, that should be teal. And then we'll grab this fair value gap right here. And I should just set those up as presets. This is a 15-minute fair value gap. So if it does not come up and wick us in and it takes out our lows and hits our intended take profit, we'll cancel that sell limit order. But we would like to see a retrace there and dig into that 15-minute fair value gap. Oh, I need to update my... Oh, it's still at 10:35.57 even after that last trade. That was a true... Oh, I don't have my current balance on there. I knew I was missing something when I had to redo that. There we go. Now we got our current balance on there. Let's see our trade history. It was a true break even. Between commissions and spreads, we did not lose money, did not make any money. So I like the way it's engineering liquidity here. I don't want it to hang around here. I want it to retrace. Dollar has filled in its fair value gap, so you would expect a little bit of a reaction here now that it's rebalanced that fair value gap on the daily time frame. It's got a volume imbalance down here that would line up with dollar coming down and pound coming up, or euro coming back up. So I'm going to give it about 10 more minutes here, and then I'm going to get off and get ready for the rest of my day. But everything has been called, everything has been anticipated, everything has been noted live. Unfortunately, the market did not cooperate with our take profit again. We didn't get an entry yesterday. We had an entry on Monday, went 1.5R, moved to break even, got wicked out. Got an entry on Tuesday, went 1.5R into profit, so we moved to break even, got wicked out at break even. Had an entry yesterday, but price did not trigger us in. Unfortunately. But it did move to our take profit. It just didn't get us in first. And then today, beautiful setup. Great buy-side liquidity run with displacement, a fair value gap inside of a breaker. Got to 1.5R again, and then again wicked out. So it's just one of those weeks. Not a big deal. There's so many more weeks to come, so many more days to come. The market has no recollection of what it did yesterday and today. It doesn't remember that it did all that to me. It doesn't even know I exist. This is a demo account. It's a funded challenge account, but it's paper trading on a demo account. Welcome back. Hope those leftovers were good, buddy. I'm going to stick on here for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to head off and clean myself up for the rest of the day. Waiting for retracement here into this breaker and this fair value gap. It's about just over 50% of the way of the fair value gap. The dollar has hit the top of its range and is now falling back, which would be expected at the top of a fair value gap. Gold is retracing its displacement leg down. Pound is retracing its displacement leg down. And euro is as well. We are triggered in on our trade. It doesn't show it here, but we are triggered in on that trade. So I'm going to move it down to show you. It literally is at the top of that wick right there. Right off of that breaker. So our, I'm going to grab that. Copy that image. Put it on the tweets. Our move to break even would be 1.5. So 7 pips is our stop loss, and 1.5 is 10.5 pips. So it's going to be basically back down here at this low. So we'll set a alert here, and maybe price will finally cooperate with our setups. Literally, we did not go into drawdown. It wicked us in and then immediately fell away. I mean, you want to talk about a freaking sniper entry. I don't know how you can get any better than that. I mean, I wish I could show you that entry. That's probably one of the best entry I've ever had, as far as just entering and no drawdown, like just immediate profit. That's pretty freaking awesome. I did enter that trade. It wicked me in. I set a sell limit order, and it wicked me in on my broker on Bespoke Funding with ACAP. I am in this trade and running in profits. So trading view, even though I'm using ACAP feed, the Bespoke Funding feed shows price to be slightly different by like half a pip. So I got in at 07253 on my MT5 and I'm triggered in, but 025 10.53 is right here, and it doesn't show as being triggered on TradingView. But on my MT5, it definitely is. And let me see if I can... There's a way that I can use my iPhone camera on here to... I think. Let me see. Waiting for connection. Oh, I got to do it on the actual... Yeah, I forgot. There we go. How do we... Oh, while I'm doing all that, price is about to hit my break-even line here. So we'll just pause, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about, how I got wicked into that. How do I... Nope. Well, connection should be automatic. It says yeah, I'm not seeing. It did not hit our break-even trigger. Got really close. And I can't figure out how to turn my camera on. I don't know why it's not. I have selected it in my... Let me close that. Let me try this again. I'll open this up. XSplit. One more time. Maybe I can't have my YouTube going. Let me close everything else out here. Now, well, it's just not cooperating. I have a way on this XSplit VCam to use my webcam, my phone, to show you what's going on. The other thing, I would have to take off and disable my webcam, and that would just look really crappy. So I'll take a, let me just take a photo. I can airdrop it to myself and put it up on the... So there's the photo. I can go here and I can airdrop this over, I think. Select. All right. There's that. Now if I open this, let me minimize this screen, and then I can. There's my MT4. That right there is where I got in. Look at that. What a freaking call. But it still hasn't hit our break-even line. It's got to break this line. This is still the draw on liquidity. You have a daily draw on liquidity here. You have the low here. You have relative equal lows here. It's left them in place. The dollar has filled in its weekly objective and is reacting off of that. We're not getting displacement lower. We've had displacement above, and you've come back down into these breakers here. So I don't want to see price rally higher here. I don't want to see displacement back up. I want to see displacement lower from here. This 15-minute fair value gap needs to hold, and this breaker needs to be respected. And then further above that, you have a... Yeah, so we're just watching and waiting. Just watching and waiting. Follow our rules. When we get to 1.5R, we move to break even. That's our rules. So that's what we're waiting for. Price can come all the way up to the top of that fair value gap and close that whole fair value gap and dig deeper into this breaker. Back closing in on our entry here. I know I keep saying 10 more minutes, but I'm going to give it 10 more minutes. Back inside this 30-minute order block, which is also a 30-minute breaker because these are the last down candles that took out buy side liquidity. Then we had a displacement below. So we want to see it respect that and continue bearish order flow. Take out these lows. Take out this drawn liquidity for euro dollar down here. Patience pays. You just have to wait and watch. And if you see your setups, you got to execute. So this trade will either be a loss, a break even, or a win. That's it. over the course of time, over the course of taking multiple trades, over hundreds of trades, this edge will play out and will be profitable. And it may not be this week. This week has already been kind of frustrating, just in being right in analysis and being right in execution, and then price just not cooperating on hitting full TPs. What I like about seeing price action right now is that you're not getting, after getting this displacement down to grab sell side liquidity, you're not getting an aggressive reaction back up. You see price retracing and digging into that fair value gap and digging into that fair value gap and digging into that fair value gap, but you're not seeing a massive candle run back up. You do have the New York Stock Exchange about to open in 10 minutes, and that'll bring in some additional volatility for the dollar. But currently, you don't see that. After grabbing this liquidity, you see we have displacement down. But after grabbing this liquidity, we haven't seen displacement back up. And you still have sell side a strong sell side liquidity draw for the day down below. So. And again, we can see price return up until through the top of that 15-minute fair value gap. We just don't want to see a close below it. We want to see price respecting that. And we're bearish on the higher time frames, and so we're trading in line with the higher time frame order flow. And these are the lower time frame setups that we've identified to line ourselves up with higher time frame order flow. And this, it's got a wick on it. All right, what's going on here? What are we looking at? Healthy retracement from that drop down. Had we moved to break even here, we would have just gotten wicked out of break even, and we would have had our fourth break even in a row for the week. And it's still very well likely may do that. However, if it drops here and we move to break even, the chances that it comes back up again one more time are pretty slim. So I feel like this is either going to be a take profit or a loss on this trade, not a break even. Because the chances that this comes down, and if it hits this, it's gonna draw for that liquidity. If it doesn't come down, then it's very likely just gonna hover around all day, or just reach up and slap and try to draw higher into a higher buy side liquidity up here. We just have to wait and see. It's a waiting game. I'll stay on until the the 9:30 New York Stock Exchange open to see what kind of reaction we get inside there. And maybe that gives us our push down and we can move to break even. We'll see. I'm kind of frustrated that I couldn't get my phone on my XSplit VCam, because I think I can switch to My HD camera. Yeah, so I can switch over to my that's my laptop camera, which looks like ass. And if I open my XSplit on my phone, don't want that. Not live, it says. Waiting for connection. And it just won't connect. My settings are all correct. Back camera, back ultra wide camera, back telephoto camera. How about just the back camera? And it just won't connect, so I don't know what the heck. I don't know what the heck's going on with that thing. It's not working correctly. Maybe if I remove. Connect your phone to your computer or wirelessly over the same network selected as your camera. Nice little groove. We're going to try this one more time. I'm going to go back to this for now. All right, finally getting some movement down away from that area again. Hopefully as the New York Open hits, the dollar will push higher, and that'll push euro down into its sell-side liquidity draw. And we can at least move to break even. Connect your phone to your computer or wirelessly over the same network and select it as your camera in XSplit VCam. I am connected right now, in fact. What is my wireless? I'm on. Okay, I need to go to this one. Maybe that's why it was on a different wireless network. So we'll close that. Connect your phone to your computer wirelessly over the same network. Approved computers. Nothing. Well, I can't figure this out, and it's frustrating. And I need to go get ready for work. We have 3 minutes until the New York Stock Exchange opens, which we should get some volatility coming in here. So we will wait and see what happens in the next 55 seconds. We'll get some movement here. I hear my dogs running down the steps. Great timing. Great timing, because we're about to watch this thing get slapped. All right, let me just real quickly turn my camera off. Mute my mic, and All right, we're back. Dogs had to do their business. New York Stock Exchange is opened. We haven't had much volatility come in from the dollars side of things. US30 has had a massive drop at the open. NAS massive drop. S&P massive drop. So that would typically mean the euro is also going to drop here. It usually drops in line with that. But so far we haven't had that drop in correlation with the indices tanking pretty hard. Dollar is starting to rise now. And euro still isn't dropping the way the dollar's rising. Hopefully it catches up. Starting to see some movement now. Never traded options. Read it about it. I don't know. I'm just more of a simple kind of a guy, and all the delta and gamma and strike rates and all that other stuff. Forex was so much easier for me to understand. Buy high, sell low. Look for these specific setups. Look for draws on liquidity. Trade in line with a higher time frame trend. It just made more sense to me, so I've never traded options before. So what I'm really hoping is that because we had this drop, we didn't move to break even. I'm hoping that retrace was our our weekly return to break even trades that we've been experiencing, and now as we come down and make a new low, we displace below that low, we can move to break even, and maybe finally this week actually get a true take profit to get hit. That'd be kind of cool. Since we've been 4 for 4 on trade direction and entry execution, but no. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and oh, come on, man. Kidding me right now? Come on. Let's get some displacement below that. I know you want that sell side liquidity. It's so juicy. You have this massive swing low. You've got the London low. You've got all of this liquidity right here. I know you want it. Go get it. We're moving to break even. There's the draw on liquidity. I don't even know if I'm going to have time to tweet out move to break even. Nope, that's not the one. We're just going to, it looks like, get our take profit hit here. I thought I am moving to break even. So our break-even line is now 07244. Which is it's basically right here at the near the top of that wick. So my break even is basically right here. Now we're just waiting for our final TP to get hit. And I'm going to go ahead and now we're just going to let it run. Actually, I'm not. Let's see what this 15-minute candle is doing here. So we're getting displacement below that 15-minute. We've got displacement below that level. We've grabbed sell-side liquidity. Dollar is moving back up above its daily fair value gap. I'd like to see it continue to climb. And we're over our 4% line here. So I'm calling it right there. I'm going to say thank you. And we've closed that trade out for profit. And I'm going to copy that trade, copy that image as we just smash take profit. Let's go. Let's go. 4%, baby. We're at 4% on our account. We are at, let me update my stats. Yeah, we risk 2% per trade on high quality setups. So when we make 1 to 2, we make 4%. So on that trade, we just made 4%. So we're at 4% of our account. So I'm going to update my stats here and make this 4 wins since we've started, and the account balance now sits at 411.77. So we need 1%. So that's a 0.5 R trade, and maybe we can knock that out tomorrow. But man, what a great way to end the stream. Good job. Finally, price responded the way we expected it to. We've had 4 amazing setups this week on the live stream. We've taken them all. They've all been executed to the system, and patience pays. We didn't get frustrated. We didn't get upset. We got in at a sniper entry on our Euro trade just now, and we smashed take profit. So real happy about that. And what a way to end the stream. That's a great way to end the day. And we go in tomorrow on Friday, ending out this week, needing only 1% more. And so that's just a 0.5 R trade on a normal trade. So I'm optimistic we should be able to find an entry and hopefully close out phase 2. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see, and maybe we'll achieve 10K funding status. So, all right. Thanks for watching, Corey. Hopefully we'll see you back tomorrow. And I'll tweet all this out right now. And got to get off and go do real life stuff. So we'll catch you later.